this is science. We're going to look at our worksheet pages here today. We're really going to do lesson 26 today. However, we had a lot of absent friends before we were going on our break, and so I just wanted to back up a little bit and do a little review. So some of you have this page completed and some of you weren't able to start it, so I thought we would just kind of go over this lesson again as a quick review, and then we'll get caught up, and then we'll have another science lesson for us tomorrow. So in this lesson we talked about environment, and it said environment. Imagine you and a friend are walking in a park. You see flowers and grass. Birds fly overhead. Insects zoom by. You hop across a creek on rocks. You see a rabbit sitting very still. The park is one environment. An environment is all the living and non-living things around a plant or animal. And so we talked about this, about the living things. They're the living and non-living things around us. That is the environment. Then we talked about the needs of an animal, and we said that God made and designed animals. An animal has 5 main needs to live, and its needs can be met in the environment that God put it in. God designed an animal's environment so that the animal can survive and grow. Be my echo. Air, water, food. Shelter, space. Good. Air, water, food, shelter, and space. Say that. Air, water, food, shelter, and space. So 3 of an animal's needs are air, water, and food. An animal breathes air and needs water to live. Food gives energy and helps an animal grow. Air, water, and food are found in the animal's environment. Okay, shelter and space. A shelter is a safe place to live. A cow may have a barn. A bug may use a plant for shelter. A fox has a den. All animals need shelter. A 5th need of an animal is space. Space to grow. Animals need space to move and find food. They need space to care for their young. Shelter and space are found in an animal's environment. And God designed animals and their environments to work together so that the animals can survive and grow. Say air, water, food. Air, water, shelter, space. Good. And then our next lesson, we were classifying. We're putting them in groups. And it said in our book that Adam named all the animals. We do not know the names he used. Scientists have names for animals too. These names help us classify animals. Scientists look at the parts of animals. They use these parts to classify animals. So a fish. In this category, we say a fish. It lives in the water and has gills. A fish spends all its life in the water. We had a little diagram here showing us that the gills help the fish breathe in the water. Most fish have scales covering their bodies. The next group we talked about was the birds. Here is a macaw parrot. Birds. A bird is an animal with feathers and wings. Feathers help a bird stay warm. Feathers can also help a bird fly. God gave birds 2 wings. Some birds use their wings to fly. Now, we talked about this, first graders. We said that not all birds fly, right? The ostrich is the largest bird. It has wings, but it does not fly. And so we talked about the robins and the ostrich. Okay, and then we had another group. As we were classifying, we talked about mammals. So most pets are mammals, and most farm animals are mammals. A mammal is an animal with hair or fur. Many mammals have hair or fur all over their bodies. Dogs and lions have fur all over their bodies. Some mammals only have small amount of hair on their bodies. Elephants and whales have small amount of hair too. So what kind of animal has fur or hair? We put them in the classification in the group of mammals. Right, so let's go back and review our pages we had. For some of you that were absent, I just wanted to make sure that you were caught up with us. So an environment, we said, is all the blank and blank things around a plant or animal. Well, we want to bubble in living, and we also want to bubble in non-living. It said to mark all the answers. So for number one, we're going to say in the environment there are living things and non-living things. So make sure you mark both that. Both of those two answers, living and non-living, not unwanted. Number two, an animal's 5 needs are, and so we said air, we need to mark food, we need to mark water, we need to mark shelter, and we also need to mark space. And then we took a look at this page, and the directions say to draw a square around an animal and circle one of the animal's needs that is being met in this environment. And so some of you were saying that this cow, you put a square around it, and the need that's being met is that it is eating the grass here, and so you circled that to show that its needs were being met. God takes care of the animals. So then number 3, the animal's need that is being met in its environment, what does this tell you about God? Well, in Scripture, we talked about this, that God designed animals' needs and its environment to work together. That was God's plan, so that the animal can survive and grow. God cares for His creation and has a plan for it and designed for its needs, for the animal's needs to be met from its environment. Okay, let's go ahead. Then we talked about classification. And so we classify animals here. Complete this graphic organizer with your teacher. This is again another page that we did. I just wanted to review so we're all together. Fish, an animal that lives in, and we said it lives in the water. So you should have water here. And you should have gills. So a fish is an animal that lives in the water and has gills. And then we talked about our animals here. We have mammal and birds. So animals we talked about are in these categories, fish and mammals and birds. So in the mammal category, we said an animal with or hair. We put the word fur. Good job, fur. And here for bird, an animal with feathers and wings. Right. Okay, and this is where we were. Oh, first we need to do this. You can do this on your own. You will put an F. We did this together in class, but if you were absent and need to finish this, you write an F if the picture is a fish, write a B if it is a bird, and an M if it is a mammal. And I'll let you do that. We did it together in class, but I'll let you do that for us to classify those animals. Okay, this is where we were. We did the first side, but again, we didn't quite finish before we had our break. So let's review, and then we'll do the back side together. So it says, what is in environment? And we said, we marked this one, all the living and non-living things around a plant or an animal. The living and non-living things, that's its environment. Number 2, which is a living thing? So we talked about these 3 things, and we said that definitely the kangaroo was a living thing. Number 3, we talked about what are the needs of animals? And we said that it's this, ready? Air, water, food, shelter, space, right? Air, water, food, shelter, and space are the needs. Number 4, why did God design animals and their environments to work together? Well, we said it was God's plan for the animal to survive and grow. So we marked this answer. He wants us to survive and grow. Number 5. Which group of animals has gills and scales and lives in the water? That's right. That was the fish. So make sure you have fish marked. Number 6. Which group of animals has feathers and wings? And we said that that was the birds. Good job. All right. I believe this is where we all are now, so let's get to it. Here we go. Learning lights are on and bright. You got it. Number 7. Which group of animal has fur or hair? We need to mark mammals. Good job. Mark mammals, please. Number 8. Why can a bird fly? It has wings and feathers. It has gills and scales. It has fur or hair. We need to mark it has wings and feathers. That's God's plan for the bird. Number 9. Why can a fish breathe underwater? It has wings. It has gills. It has fur. Well, it's because it has gills. God's plan for the fish was to give it gills so it could breathe underwater. God takes care of the animals and its needs. Number 10. In which group does this animal belong? So we're looking at the animal here, and we know that it is a bird that God made. Number 11. In which group does this animal belong? Which group? That's right. We want to put it with the fish. Mark your answer. Number 12. In which group does this animal belong? I see fur. Mammals. We need to mark mammals. And number 13. Who is a zoologist? Well, we learned that a zoologist is a scientist who studies and takes care of animals. All right, just a little review today. We'll do more work in our science packet tomorrow. Good job, A3.